Hey everyone, and welcome back to Metroid Zero Mission, where today we'll be coming home. Yes, finally we'll be revisiting all the previous places where we have already been before we embarked on this Naked State adventure, if you remember. Basically we'll be revisiting all the previous places finally, where we have already been with our previous suit, if you remember. Technically, this whole Chozoria place and this Space Pirate Mothership place is considered like a part of ZBs as well, but to me it never actually felt that way, simply because, well, you see, Chozoria is an end-game location, right? And simply because you don't visit this whole place too often. You're basically here for the end game, and that's pretty much it. And when you first enter this whole place, you are being in your naked state, right? So yeah, then you realize that you are handicapped, then you realize that there are some blocks that can be broken with your suit upgrades, and you realize that you don't have these upgrades, right? You try to figure out all the surroundings, try to figure out how to go about this whole place. Then you finally find your newly and improved suit, right? And then you are overpowered, then you, okay, collect all these items which are here. Then you realize that, hey, enemies can be defeated in different ways, not only by escaping from them like before when we were in our naked state, right? So simply when you are in your suit mode, then you are so overpowered, and then, yeah, you feel like nothing really matters in this place anymore, simply because you are being a god, right? And you don't pay attention to all these things about how you can go about enemies, things about what you can explore and stuff like that. But basically everything feels very self-explanatory to you at this point. So that's why, yeah, this whole place in most of the times is kinda erased from my memory, so I'm still discovering new things about this whole place. But anyway, here we enter this secret passage that I mentioned before, and you see this tube? This fancy looking tube can actually be destroyed with our power bombs. That's right. So sorry Space Pirates, but I have to do what I have to do. I have to destroy everything now that I have my absolute power. So yeah, you had some pretty fancy tube here, but well, it's gone. So, but anyway, yeah, when you break that tube, you actually gain access to this area here. So this area here actually leads you back to all the previous places where you have already been, but before doing that, there's a passage here to the right, which you can break with your power bombs, and yeah, then you gain access to this passage here, and here at the top, well, there is a power bomb tank. So there is a similar passage which can be broken with your power bombs to the left, and that passage actually leads you out of this Chozoria place to other places. So yeah, in general, Chozo Ruins part of Chozoria was very mysterious place, and there's not too much information about Chozo Ruins in general in this game. So yeah, this whole place is kinda clouded in mystery, and it was kinda interesting how we ended up in these Chozo Ruins here in Chozoria. We were just escaping Space Pirates, right? And we just ended up in Chozo Ruins, where surprise surprise, our newly and improved suit was just laying there for whatever reason. So I don't know for what purpose are these Chozo Ruins. What were Chozos doing there? Maybe it was just a storage facility for this new and improved suit. Just for example, if Samus has some dire situation and that she can visit these Chozo Ruins to, well, gain access to her other suit or something like that? I don't know, really. There are many theories what are these Chozo Ruins meant for, but what are they actually meant for? I don't know if you'll actually find out, really, because as you can see, these Metroid games, especially first ones, well, they don't feature too much dialogue. This game, okay, it is a remake of the original, but as you can see, it's kept loyal to the original, so there's not too much dialogue in this game as well. So yeah, So here lies this, yeah, very lonely energy tank, which you can only obtain by using your Shine Spark. Today, in general, we'll be using our Shine Spark in many different clever ways. It will be apparent in Crateria, because Crateria will be the first place which we visit today, which we have already been to before, if you remember. So yeah, in Crateria there are some pretty awkward items for you to get, and you can only gain access to them by using your Shine Spark. So yeah, some really difficult to get items, and I was banging my head against the wall how to get them, but then I figured that out, and it was pretty hard to do. And apparently these electrical ball things can be destroyed with your rockets. Before I thought that it can be only done with your screw attack, because your beam is not working on them, but apparently you can do it with your missiles as well. So yeah, as you can see, if you're speaking about this whole Chizoria place, I'm still discovering some new things, because simply in this place, when you enter it, okay, you are kinda handicapped at first, but then you are being the embodiment of God himself, right? And then kinda not many things matter to you at all, so you don't bother to check for all these things. For example, what are enemies susceptible to and stuff like that. So, and here we have some pretty funny section where there are a lot of these spiky turtles. So yeah. Also in the next room there will be a pretty interesting room. So it will be filled with blocks that you can break with your regular bombs. But as I mentioned before, you can use your power bomb to basically clear all these blocks that you can break with your bombs. But doing that here is actually a bad idea, because you'll clear out, okay, almost all the blocks on the screen, right, that way. But here, doing that is a bad idea, because you can clear out the blocks that can actually help you to advance forward through this amazing section here. So yeah, as you can see, there are many different blocks that are kind of crumbling blocks, so watch your step. So, because yeah, this whole room is kind of like a trial and error room, so you have to find a way how you should break these blocks to advance forward to the item that you can obtain here. So, you know, I know the way to the item here. I was just messing around here. I was just falling into the every passage which leads to the crumbling block for whatever reason. Just to explore this place more, because I'm not kind of familiar with this room too much. So I just wanted to see how many different passages are here, which can lead you kind of backwards to the place where you don't need to go, sorta. So yeah, I was just messing around here just for the sake of fun. So also in the previous episode, yes, chipmunks visited me again. Apparently they just like power. They like absolute power. So yeah, they want to just reign everything, even my Let's Plays. So yeah, they want to take over, but I'm hanging on. Really, guys, trust me, everything will be fine. Hopefully. So. And yeah, here, as you can see on the map, this place to the left actually leads to Crateria. So, remember these Chozo ruins which are here in Chizoria? These Chozo ruins actually are connected to the previous Chozo ruins, which we already visited in Crateria, if you remember. We visited these first Chozo ruins, which were in Crateria almost at the beginning of the game when we received our power grip. Yeah, remember this room? We actually visited this room before. So this is this room with this water, and now that we have our gravity suit, we can actually yeah, move freely in water. As you can see, we are not slowed down, so yeah, everything is just awesome, because well, we are a god right now, so nothing can stop us now, really. So in Crateria we have 3 pretty difficult to reach items here, so I'll be going for them today. Actually, today I will be, yeah, getting all the items in Criteria, also exploring almost all the map of the Criteria as well. And yeah, because yeah, why do it later if we can do it now, right? So, also you see here are some power bomb blocks. You should break them because here you will need to execute Shine Spark to reach one of the items which you can get here. So interesting thing about the power bomb blocks, as you can see, I break the blocks, then I entered the next room, then I came back to the previous room, and these power bomb blocks were no longer there. So the interesting thing about power bomb blocks is once you destroy them with your power bomb, they don't respawn. So yeah. So for example, now in that room, well, we have much space to run, so to speak. So basically now we can execute Shine Spark there to actually get, believe it or not, one item in this big room. Yes, this item which is here to the left, as you can see. So you may wonder, how can you reach it, right? Well, I'll try to show you here, but it's pretty awkward to show it here. Basically there are some speed booster blocks which we can break here. So basically the idea is to execute a Shine Spark in that room where I broke the power bomb blocks, if you remember. Then you have to store it, then you have to enter this room, and yeah, you have to execute a Shine Spark from one particular ledge in this room, and then you have to execute Ball Spark to actually reach this item here. So how it goes I'll show just in a moment, because it's one of the most difficult tricks to pull off here. So you see here where I'm standing, this is actually the place where you should execute your Ball Spark. So yeah, let's go back now. Let's yeah, use our super missile to deal with that turtle which is bugging us. So yeah, this room here to the right. So if you remember, in that room I used my power bomb to break these power bomb blocks. So now the way is cleared here, so I can gain enough speed to execute my Shine Spark. So okay, execute Shine Spark here. Okay, keep shooting to access this door. Store it here, jump here, curl into your ball form, execute your Shine Spark, and then keep on holding upwards and to the left, so that you are flying diagonally here. And yeah, that way you can break these speed booster blocks here, and yeah, that way you can gain access to this particular place. It will take you a couple of tries to actually break these speed booster blocks here at the top, because you see, finding the right ledge, the right pixel where to stand to actually fly towards these speed booster blocks is kind of tricky sometimes. So yeah, you need to take your time there. So okay, now we'll be visiting actually the right part of this whole place. There are 2 more items which you can get, and yeah, 2 of them also are pretty tricky to get. You also have to use your Shine Spark in some clever ways. One of them you will have to, yeah, get that item also by using your Ball Spark, but that Ball Spark will not be so tricky like this one. So, but the other item, it also features Shine Sparking trick, and a pretty difficult one. So yeah, and also yeah, remember this room? This was the room where we actually got our power grab. So remember this ledge where I was standing right now for later, because it will be important to actually get one item which is well, located here. Yeah, because as you can see, these blocks here to the right, they are actually, yeah, speed booster blocks. So from that ledge up above you actually can't gain enough speed to execute your Shine Spark. So as you can see, you have to execute your Shine Spark from, well, some other place. Also, this room here to the right actually leads us, surprise surprise, back to Chozoria. So yeah, as you can see, as I mentioned before, these Chozo ruins which were in Criteria are actually connected to these Chozo ruins which are here in Chozoria. And yeah, as long as we are here, let's grab this power bomb tank. And I think there was one more hidden block here. Yeah, this missile block, which is important so that you can access this passage here, and this passage here leads you back to Chozoria. As you can see, there's a power bomb block which you can break. And yeah, but we'll be actually going back to this place through this passage actually a bit later when we'll go after the final boss. So as you can see, we still have some items to collect here in Chozoria, so basically we'll be taking advantage of this particular passage to reach this place and to collect the remaining items, and then we'll go straight to the final boss. But not right now, because you know, I want to visit my home. I don't want to be only in Criteria, I want to visit some other places again, you know. Also here, there is one ledge to the right here, as you can see, this one. And there is one item actually in this room to the left, as you can see here. So there is a missile tank. So this passage which we visited before, there's enough space for you to build your Shine Spark. So basically what we'll do now, we'll build the Shine Spark in that corridor, then we'll store it, then we'll go to this room, we'll drop down onto one of the ledges, then we'll curl into our ball mode, and then we'll yeah, use our Shine Spark. Then we'll hold to the left so that we can fly to the left with our ball mode, and then we can get this item. So as you can see, sometimes I'm kind of screwing around here just for the sake of map completion, because this whole Let's Play is not only 100% item completion but also 100% map completion. So I'm kind of trying to, yeah, fill all the spaces on the map as well. So this next item that we'll be going after here, I consider this item to be the easiest one to get out of the 3 that you can get right now here in Chozoria. So okay, let's see. In Criteria, I mean. So basically, yeah, build your Shine Spark here, store it once you enter this room. Go here, use your ball mode here, and yeah, you can just fly across this whole room, as you can see. And that's how you can reach this missile tank. Also, important thing about this particular missile tank is once you are in that space where this missile tank lies, keep on holding left so you don't drop down, because if you drop down without holding left, you'll just drop down and there are crumbling blocks, and then you won't be able to access that particular area again unless you execute this whole Shine Sparking trick again. So yeah. Alright, now the most difficult item to get here. So we'll be building our Shine Spark here. So this is my, yeah, successful attempt. Okay. Go here. Jump here and in the right spot there. Stop and then execute your Shine Spark to break these well, speed booster blocks here, because as you can see, if you are clever enough and if you pay attention, these ledges where we have been right now, they feature slopes. So basically these slopes will actually help you to store your Shine Spark. So yeah, that's why you have to be clever, you have to be precise, you have to know when there is a slope, when you have to store the Shine Spark, and stuff like that. So also this one will take you a couple of tries to get, because okay, you can figure out where are the slopes, you can figure out where you can store the Shine Spark, right? But figuring out the timing where to release the Shine Spark in the air when you are jumping there is pretty hard in order for you to reach the ledge where the item lies, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it took me a couple of tries to get it. That's why there was this blackout. There was this screen transition, because it took me a couple of minutes to actually get this particular item. And yes, now we are in Norfair, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and yeah, in the next episode we'll continue to explore our home, because well, we are back in home finally. So yeah guys, I'll see you all next time. Cheers.